Like it or not, there's a global move towards healthy eating, and with it, the notion of really upping our intake of vegetables quite significantly. So I thought it was quite appropriate that we come up with some new ideas for what to do with main course vegetables and some side dishes. Let's kick off this episode with these Harissa spiced baby aubergines. They're awesome because you can serve them as a side dish or a main course, and either hot or cold. To make them, you're going to need baby aubergines, ground coriander, ground allspice, and ras el hanout. We're also going to make a harissa paste with ground cumin, salt, lemon, and red pepper, garlic, chili, and fresh coriander. Then I'm going to top it all with some whipped feta, for which you're going to need feta, yogurt, fresh coriander, mint, and parsley. So I'm going to make a fresh harissa paste. Now, it's not strictly necessary because you get perfectly fabulous harissa pastes all over the show these days, but it is lovely to make your own. And to do it, I'm just going to start with some lemon peel that I'm going to soften in boiling water, because I find that the lemon doesn't really break up terribly well when you sort of put it in the wurra. So if you just soften them slightly, it'll help all the more. Pop on the pan because it's quite thick. Now, I've got these stunning little aubergines. I just think they are the dearest, most gorgeous things in the universe. Aubergines are fab because they're quite meaty, so they sort of feel quite filling. And you can sometimes, con a meat eater into believing they're, just as meaty as meat. Some olive oil. Right, I'm just going to toss them into the pan because I just want them to sort of start to brown slowly but surely. I'm just going to turn my mind to the harissa paste. Harissa paste is a Middle Eastern spice paste, and as I say, you can certainly just get it in the shops, but it is nice to make it yourself. So I've got some serrano chilies here. They're just sort of medium chilies as opposed to super fierce or too mild. I've roasted a red pepper. Now, you can roast a red pepper sort of in many different ways. You could do pretty much anything. What's important, though, is once it's got completely blackened, that you pop it into a bag so that the skin comes off quite easily. Okay, so just toss that in there. Lovely. Okay, so I just think what we need to do is just give these a little turn, because once we get the spices and the harissa and everything going, they'll really start to brown. And I want them to have cooked and softened just slightly before we do that. Okay, we'll leave those right there. And now I'm going to get some spices. I'm going to use a bit of an array of spices, but we'll just start over here with some cumin, a decent amount, and it covers a multitude of sort of warm, sort of mellow, quite sweet flavour. Toss that into there, some fresh coriander and some olive oil. Now, harissa paste is literally different depending on which family makes it, from which region they make it, but there's usually chili and garlic and coriander somewhere along the line. I'm going to put some pepper in here. And then let's not forget the lemon peel. So it's just a little bit softer than it would normally be, you see, and that kind of helps me a bit when I whirl everything together. Excellent. And really, this can be sort of chunky or smooth. I mean, there really are sort of very few rules related to harissa paste. Does smell utterly divine, though. Okay, let's turn our hands to this situation over here. Beautiful, so now they're all sort of getting browned and marvelous. And so we can start to add the spices. I'm going to start with a bit of ground coriander. And this is big flavour food. Some salt, I find always helps the spices to stick a bit better. Then I'm going to add some allspice. So don't overdo the allspice because it is quite overpowering. Then I'm going to add some ras el hanout. Now, you don't have to add this, but it's sort of like the garam masala of the Middle East, and it's got a bit of allspice and some mace and cardamom and cumin. And it's really come to the fore since that lovely Yotam Ottolenghi has started to wend his way into all of our kitchens. And then, of course, our harissa paste, a couple of tablespoons. Now, the rest of this, you can just pop into a jar and keep it in the fridge for a good week or two. Okay, now I'm going to turn this down slightly. Beautiful. So you just want all this to get sort of gungy and sticky and delicious. Now, what is delicious with it is a sort of whipped feta moment. Everyone seems to be serving whipped feta at the moment. I'm not entirely sure that it's really whipped, but it sounds like quite a jolly name, so we'll use it. So obviously, in order to make whipped feta, you need some feta. So I'm going to use a few discs of that. That should be enough, I reckon. And then a bit of yogurt, and this is really just to sort of loosen things. You could add yogurt and olive oil, just yogurt, really is up to you. And the thing about it is you can flavour it maybe with some grated lemon peel, with some spice. I'm going to use some herbs because I think, because I love herbs really, and also because it's going to help that freshness with the sort of lovely spices. So I'm going to use mint and parsley and coriander. Let me get a handheld whirrer, and off we go. Divine. Let's try and get all of the lovely herby, feta-y, creamy stuff off. Put that in there. Okay. Let's get our aubergines. If you want to add some fresh tomato in here, that's also not a bad idea. Smells fabulous. All right, and then we just dollop a bit of our delicious green yumminess sort of randomly over the affair. I think some coriander is probably the one we need. And voila, there we have some stunning aubergines with a beautiful whipped feta. I promise you, these aubergines are a flavour-packed winner. Perfect for visiting vegetarians or just at dinner on a meat-free Monday.